My speed limit is limited to 40.
Now, what you just saw is already a reality in some European cars and will be in all new European cars starting in 2024. It can only go so fast. And you know that since the Democrats love the EU, they love Europe, they always want to be in Europe, they want to do the same thing here in the United States. Don't forget your constitutional rights. Those can be damned, even your movement controlled. The National Transportation Safety Board is recommending that all new vehicles get technology that makes speeding, quote, more difficult or completely impossible.
Laura Ingram's right. I never in a million years thought I would say it, but she is right. And we should not be taking what the EU is doing as an example of what should be implemented here in the United States. But unfortunately, it appears Pete Buttigieg is taking a note and considering implementing these policies. So I'll get to that in just a moment. Last year, the EU did in fact announce that all new cars sold in Europe must come outfitted with anti-speeding technology called intelligent speed assistance. Now, it's not all that intelligent. In fact, oftentimes it malfunctions. We'll get to that as well. But I just don't think we need the government mandating that our vehicles serve as our nannies and tell us what we can and can't do. Okay? You want law enforcement to monitor the roads and stop people and give them citations when they're speeding? Great, in favor of that. I don't want my car to automatically slow down or make it impossible for me to go a little over the speed limit. I think that that's too invasive, too intrusive, and I'm not in favor of it. So the regulation in the EU, by the way, requires all new cars to include this anti-speeding technology by 2024. And under the regulation, auto manufacturers must implement one of several of these tech options that'll basically kick into gear when a driver goes over the speed limit. The car can alert the driver with a visual warning followed by an acoustic or vibrating warning. That's the least offensive one out of all of them for me, right? Okay, fine. You wanna, it's just like the seatbelt notification where it's like, please fasten seatbelt, please fasten seatbelt. I'm not saying that I don't fasten my seatbelt, but just give me a minute, okay? Give me a minute. And I've learned to deal with that, it's fine, it's fine. The seatbelt's important, it's fine. And if you wanna implement this for speeding, okay, fine. But this is where it starts to get super annoying. The gas pedal can gently push back on the driver's foot. No. Or the car can automatically reduce the speed. No. I'm gonna take a quick vote in the studio. Raise your hand if you're in favor of this. I'm not gonna retaliate. Okay, no one's in favor of it. Guys, what are we doing? All right, there's more. Let me finish that graphic. The driver can override the latter two functions, the EU said, by pushing slightly harder on the gas pedal. Okay, so the tech has some issues, as I mentioned earlier. It's not foolproof, and that's the other issue I have with this. And by the way, there's all sorts of safety features on vehicles now that I do think malfunction time to time, and it's super annoying. I remember one time my car, it has this technology where it'll stop before it rear ends the car in front of me. One time that happened when the car in front of me was super far away. I was on the freeway. The car just stopped in the middle of the road, in the middle of the freeway, which was incredibly dangerous and terrified the crap out of me. In this case, as Autocar notes, ISA technology still isn't perfected. During one test, the ISA system was occasionally slow to respond, and at one point set the speed limit at 60 miles per hour while driving through a quiet English village. Seems like that kind of defeats the purpose, okay? And guess what? Ingram is also correct about the National Transportation Safety Board and how they would like to implement this policy here in the United States. The National Transportation Safety Board has recommended that all new automobiles come equipped with technology meant to make speeding difficult or impossible. It's the second such recommendation from the NTSB in 6 years. That was reported by NBC News just recently. Now look, it is true that speeding in some cases leads to horrific accidents, lives are lost. For instance, last year, more than 12,000 people in the United States died in speed-related crashes. It is a problem. I say we hire more cops to monitor the roads and stop people who are driving erratically and too quickly. Okay, I don't want technology in my car that's going to automatically do anything other than automatically, the automatic transmission, I'm good with that. But I don't want it to automatically slow down my speed. That's super weird and I'm not in favor of it. It's too invasive. And look, 12,000 people dying a year from speed-related car crashes is devastating. I don't want to make light of that. I don't want to downplay that. But we also have a lot of other problems, like the fact that we have over 100,000 Americans who die of drug overdoses every year in this country at this point. The fact that you have a government agency hyper-focused on implementing policies that would automatically make your car slow down if you're driving too fast, I don't think that's a priority, but there is some good news here. So apparently Sarah Sulik, a public affairs specialist for the NTSB, noted that the board does not have regulatory or enforcement powers and that it initially recommended incentivizing intelligent speed assistance technology to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration back in 2017. The status of that recommendation, even now that it's been reiterated, is listed as non-urgent. And I would agree with that. Non-urgent. Let's stay away from it. I do not support it. That doesn't mean I want people to speed. I don't want people to drive erratically. I just don't like I think Ingraham is right. I don't like this obsession with control, right? Making it increasingly difficult for people to just exist, knowing that their government trusts them to be good, law-abiding citizens who aren't gonna drive erratically. Some people will, and some people do. And those people should be held to account. They should deal with the citations. They should deal with the cops stopping them. But implementing technology that makes your car automatically slow down because it deems that you're going too quickly in any particular zone, I just think it's too intrusive. It's too much. It's too nanny state feeling. And I'm not in favor of that. So I'm curious what you guys think, because I'm sure some people disagree. Again, this is not to minimize the problems that persist as a result of people speeding. I just think, why punish ordinary people with this super annoying technology in their cars when you should just hold the people who are speeding and driving erratically accountable? You should have better monitoring of the roads. Maybe you have, radar speed checks that doesn't even involve a cop, and you get a citation in the mail and that spanks you a little bit and you realize you shouldn't be speeding. Whatever. I just don't want this in my car. I really hope this doesn't come to fruition.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.